Every World Cup match is actually controlled by a room that almost no fan ever sees. I mean, every 4 years, billions of us tune in to watch 22 players chase a ball across a patch of grass. We see the sweat, the brilliant goals, the sheer magic of the game. But what you're watching is kind of just a facade. It's this highly orchestrated, beautifully televised illusion, because behind the blinding lights and the roar of the crowd, there is a hidden multi-billion-dollar empire operating entirely out of sight. In this explainer, we're going to pull back the curtain on the world's most popular sporting event. We're going to uncover a highly secretive, perfectly engineered system that extracts billions of dollars while controlling absolutely everything.
So, who actually controls a World Cup match? When you think about it, you probably picture the players, right? Or maybe the manager pacing the sidelines, or the referee blowing the whistle. But the truth is way more mysterious than that. While the fans are totally focused on the pitch, the real power lies completely unseen. It lives in restricted access control rooms, hidden fiber optic networks, and in these ironclad, confidential legal documents that get signed long before a single fan ever buys a ticket.
Okay, let's dive into this. On one side, you've got the visible game. This is the one we all know and love. But opposing it is the invisible game, which is this massive, hidden technological network. We're talking about 16 advanced semi-automated offside technology cameras silently tracking every limb of every single player. We're talking about connected sensors and centralized broadcast hubs that are operating thousands of miles away from the stadium itself. It's literally a global surveillance and broadcast machine disguised as a football tournament.
That brings us to layer one, the connected tracking device. To understand this invisible empire, we really have to start at the foundation of the sport. Because the most restricted backstage operations don't start in a boardroom, they start right at the player's feet.
$170. That's the retail price of the Adidas Trianda Pro. Now, at first glance, it just looks like the official match ball for the 2026 World Cup, right? But it's absolutely not just a ball. It is a highly advanced, wirelessly charged tracking device. Gone are the classic 20-panel designs. This is a streamlined 4-panel piece of hardware engineered specifically to feed the invisible machine. Inside that ball, relocated to the side rather than the center, is a sensor powered by a 6-hour wireless battery. The exact second a player strikes it, it begins beaming a staggering amount of real-time physics data. We're talking 3D spatial acceleration, spin velocity, directional deflection. All of this invisible data is silently transmitting off the pitch and into the ether, totally bypassing the fans in the stands. So where is all that data actually going?
Well, it goes to the secret room. For the 2026 World Cup, that data, along with the feeds from those 16 stadium tracking cameras, flows directly into a centralized Video Operations Room, or the VOR, located at the International Broadcast Center in Dallas, Texas. Think about that for a second. An offside call happening in a stadium in New York or Vancouver is actually being calculated and flagged by a computer system and a team of video assistant referees sitting in a dark room in Dallas. And they then beam their final verdict directly into the earpiece of the on-field referee. And this brilliantly illustrates just how much control is maintained totally off-site. That hidden bunker in Dallas doesn't just assist the referee, it essentially dictates the flow of the game. This whole technological setup exists to ensure that billions of viewers worldwide experience a flawless, controversy-managed, perfectly synchronized broadcast event in real time. Which leads perfectly into layer two, total stadium takeover. See, controlling the ball and the cameras is just step one. Next, we have to look at how FIFA legally seizes total control of the entire stadium and the host city itself. Long before the tournament even kicks off, host cities like New York and New Jersey sign what's called a host city agreement. And the public records of these documents are just staggering. The city must legally hand over full control of the stadium 30 days before the tournament starts. They literally have to clear the airspace above the city of any competing commercial advertising. Oh, and the city is legally obligated to provide police escorts, medical services, and fire protection for FIFA, completely free of charge. The host city essentially becomes a temporary sovereign state managed by a Swiss sports federation. They call this creating a clean stadium. Basically, it means every local business, every competing brand, every single trace of local commercial identity is aggressively pushed out of the zone. Let's say you have a local beer brand right outside the stadium. You are shut down, just so the official FIFA sponsor can operate without any competition. The whole area is transformed into this monopolized, tax-free commercial zone designed exclusively for FIFA's corporate partners. And within this highly controlled zone, FIFA even controls the exact flow of time. To maximize the television product and cut down on dead time, they've implemented strict new efficiency rules for 2026. Keepers and throw-ins now face a literal 5-second countdown. Substituted players have exactly 10 seconds to vanish from the pitch. Tactical medical holds, totally banned. They're making absolutely sure that not a single second of their lucrative broadcast product is wasted on anything other than nonstop action. Moving on to Layer 3, the broadcast cash cow. All this tech, all these secret rooms, all these intense legal agreements, they really all exist for one single reason, which is delivering a pristine, uninterrupted feed to a massive global market.
$13 billion. That's the projected revenue figure for FIFA's 2023 to 2026 financial cycle, driven heavily by the newly expanded 104-match format across North America. Almost $9 billion of that is expected to be generated in 2026 alone. The World Cup is an absolute financial juggernaut, and every camera angle and offside sensor we talked about earlier is calibrated to protect this exact number.
Now, what's really interesting about this slide is when you break down exactly where that money comes from, you'll notice a massive 44% chunk is driven purely by TV and digital rights. Another 33% comes from ticketing and hospitality, which for 2026 is laser-focused on luxury VIP experiences, premium dining, and exclusive access. The vast majority of this empire's income comes from selling the broadcast and selling elite access to the spectacle. Yet, despite all this unimaginable wealth being generated, the most fascinating secret of all might just be that FIFA retains total ownership over absolutely everything, even the ultimate prize itself. When you see a team weeping tears of joy, kissing the most famous object in sports on global television, you're looking at a fleeting illusion. Because the real FIFA World Cup trophy, the one made of 18-karat gold and malachite, never actually permanently leaves FIFA's possession. It lives in a vault in Switzerland like a heavily guarded state secret. The winning players only get to hold the real one for the cameras and the confetti drop. As soon as the parade is over, FIFA quietly takes it back and hands the champions a gold-plated bronze replica to take home instead. They literally own the glory. Which brings us to our final act, Layer 4, the ultimate extraction machine. Because holding onto a golden trophy is honestly nothing compared to the staggering financial reality of what it actually costs a host nation to build the stage for this show. $220 billion. That is the mind-bending cost for Qatar to host the 2022 tournament. I mean, to put that into perspective, that is roughly the entire GDP of the country for a full year, spent on a 29-day event. They had to build an entire city from the desert, import a massive labor force, and construct stadiums that honestly now sit largely empty, costing millions every single month just to maintain. Now contrast that with what FIFA made. FIFA left Qatar with $7.5 billion in pure revenue. The host nation spent $220 billion to build the infrastructure, and the governing body swooped in, collected billions in broadcast, ticketing, and sponsorship revenue, and just left the host holding massive maintenance bills. So the crucial point is this final number right here, 0. How much corporate tax did FIFA pay to the host nation on that multi-billion-dollar windfall? 0, because FIFA is actually registered as a Swiss non-profit organization dedicated to promoting, quote, peace and international understanding. So they operate under incredible tax exemptions. They dictate the terms, extract the revenue, pay 0 corporate tax, and leave. And this exact cycle is repeating right now for 2026. The estimated combined public spending for the US, Canada, and Mexico to host this expanded tournament is projected at a massive $50 billion. Meanwhile, FIFA is looking to pull in roughly $11 billion in revenue. The hosts shoulder the immense financial burden of security, infrastructure, and logistics, while the invisible empire harvests the profit. What this all boils down to is that long before kickoff, the host government is essentially pre-funding a decade of private sector profit. Massive construction and consulting firms extract immense wealth from public funds, operating in a system that financially rewards them for drastically underestimating the initial bid costs just to win the hosting rights in the first place. I want to leave you with this incredible quote that, for me, completely reframes the entire event. The World Cup is an infrastructure extraction mechanism that uses a sporting event as justification. It is a flawlessly designed machine. Think about it. FIFA doesn't need to build stadiums or roads. They just need to create an event so culturally powerful that nations will literally line up to spend billions to build them for free. Which leaves us with this final, provocative thought. Next time you're watching a match and you see that ball pinging around and the off-site lines being drawn by computers thousands of miles away, ask yourself, When a city wins the World Cup bid, who is really winning? I hope this explainer has given you a glimpse into the secret rooms and hidden economics of the beautiful game. You're definitely going to look at it completely differently from now on.